Welcome to Arena Cast number 3. I'm Griffin. Here's my co-host, Koski.
Here's Silist.
Excellent. Welcome, everybody. On today's episode, we're putting the spotlight on the Horwasp. Each one of us is going to cover one of our illustrious Horwasp players. Sorry, guys, you probably don't like the attention, but it's coming. We're going to start off with Silist, and he's going to be talking about Cram.
I would go ahead and say Cram has probably one of the best starting positions for all of the Horwasps because he doesn't get that much attention over there. As you can see in the very beginning, he doesn't have that desirable of a spot. You can see it's just some planets, not a big cluster, nothing you really want to have, so he doesn't get that much attention put on him right here. You can see he has 3 more or less close neighbors. One of them is Joshua, but they all, except for the lizard one, do actually not really give him that much attention. He fights with the lizard because it's in his same cluster, but that's it, and it's not that bad of a fight for him, as we can see later on. But he also has the cluster to the right, below the star cluster, as you can see. It's also a nice little cluster. He can send some pods there, and I think it's actually a quite good spot for a Horwasp because you can see it's not that dense of a cluster, not that many planets next to each other, but he does have a lot of planets scattered around, and he can just send pods everywhere because he doesn't have like the, isn't limited to 5 freighters or something. He can just send pods all over. Yeah, as we can see right there, this is the first fight in turn 8, but it's not that big, not a big one. I think he got attacked by a probe, but I'm not very sure. Yeah, I think it's probe versus nest, not that big of a fight. He just gets destroyed. It's the first small skirmish, but we can see in turn 11 and turn 12 he does get to fight Stingers versus Lizard class cruisers. I think it's not that bad of a fight for him, as he gets a lot of damage on these ships without having to spend any ship slots or priority points later on. We can see he starts pushing the lizard a bit back, starts taking some space. As you can see, he sends pods out to the further planets just so he can colonize them too. We can see the first minefield laid there just to make sure he doesn't get attacked too much, and he relieves himself of a bit pressure here. We can conclude the lizard is the only real enemy here. He does fight a bit with the evil empire because some of the probes intercept some of the pods, but it's nothing really dangerous for him. He does lose some nests, but I think he can afford losing them. It's not too bad. But with the lizard, I think this will be his main enemy. As we can see, his other neighbors don't really attack him, don't really concern about him. They each have other neighbors to fight, and they leave him alone mostly. I think it's probably the Horwasps the least alliances against were made because, for example, with Super Schmidt, I heard one or two players want to team up and fight against him to get him out. But this one, he seems to be just in his little space there, attacking this lizard and getting attacked back. But I think it's pretty okay for him. He does have a quite good position, and we can see he does take some planets, and we have to say the lizards are a pretty tough enemy for the Horwasps, as they can really hurt him with their ground attack abilities. But he also gets to decloak any of their ships, which is quite nice for him. And we can see the lizard does not really have very much space to navigate. I think from below, one player is pushing him as well, and he doesn't have that strong of a fleet built up right there. I think he does only have 1 or 2 T-Rexes and some lizard cruisers, so it's really not that strong force, and he gets pushed by the yellow player from below as well, from the bird. And so probably we can see the Horwasp will defeat the lizard eventually, but then he will probably get focused on by the other players as well. As you can see, the pink one up in the corner just starts invading his cluster as well. But I think the ship, right there, he's checking it out, but I think later on he might actually start really attacking the Horwasp right here. But I think for now he is quite in a good position. he does not have that strong of an enemy next to him, and I think he can build up a lot, which is good for the whole wasp. He can develop his planets, he can eat a lot of natives, he can send around a lot of natives. So if he then gets attacked by a big force eventually, he can send out maybe these mites. I don't know if he has them unlocked, but they can really help because you don't lose track of any ships, and they will just follow them until they are either hit or the ship is destroyed some other way. And I think this is very very good for him because he really has now that key planets. These key planets, he can develop his planets. He can just get a really good stronghold here. He has a foot in the door, and if someone tries to attack him, he's on the defense. And Horwath's defense can be pretty good because they have these stingers, they have the mites, and they will actually hurt someone pretty badly as he develops that much and is that strong of a player right here and doesn't get attacked that hard at the beginning. I think the other ones can't say that for themselves, but yeah, I think we got two more to go.
I think it's interesting, and Koski, you're in the neighborhood over here, so you're probably watching
Yes,
this pretty closely. But here he is about to enter this debris disk, and I don't think that's good for the neighborhood.
yes, yes, but maybe I'm hoping maybe that will stir some activity into my neighbors regarding the horse. Uh, what's interesting is that I haven't seen a single mite in this game yet. I wonder if any of the wasps actually have it enabled.
Hmm.
It should be. It's extremely useful, the mites. But that was excellent analysis, Silist. I completely agree with you here that uh, Graham has upper hand on day there, and he also has pretty nice situation. Nobody is teaming up on him, and he also has already multiple planets, so he has had some time to build on them. So what I'm interested is that, well, maybe he has done discussed something with Joshua and some others because they are leaving him alone.
Yeah, and it sure looks like he's sending Joshua some duranium.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But
but
Interesting.
also,
I think those rocks are just scouts. They are very light and they are just meant there. I believe Graham thought that those could maybe be hidden, these pots and rocks, like in a regular game, but also they reveal the cloakers.
Yes.
So
Maybe,
they are
maybe he's
very
doing it as
helpful
a
for.
favor for them, or he just wants to see what's coming.
I think what we
Um,
have to think of here is the diplomacy is very important for him as the the Horwaths do get to build their pods right after the ship limit. They don't have to invest the priority points to build anything. They have these pods. They can pressure anybody, and diplomacy is important for him here because if he gets some peace and he gets to develop that much, he can really be a pain. He can really do something with that development because for us, if we have no priority points but the greatest planets and the greatest economy, we can build some mines, we can build some fighters, but we can't build these ships, we can't build these pods that he builds, and I think that's very strong for Hall Wasp.
Yes, but one has to realize also that what I'm really interested is that the mineral levels of planets in this game. As we remember, we can have Merlins, Wasp can't have Merlins. So if those planets run out of minerals, they can't build anything.
he's got a good number
So
of
also
brutes
for
too.
that, the depth. Oh,
That's a really strong fleet. Yeah, I think the it would be more than enough to take out the lizard right here and scare anybody enough to not push him right there. I think Koski has a good point there with the minerals, but we also have to think if he gets to put a lot of clans on every of these planets, and even if these minerals do run dry after some time, He probably has enough force to get to another planet, get to more minerals, and just compensate that with these strong ships and pods that he will eventually have. Then
Yeah, and perhaps the lizards are doing him a favor by mining these planets for him. It is interesting to note that Cram's attention seems to be very focused on just one player, and that's probably
Yes.
helping that situation a lot. So the lack of predators for him and a singular focus, which the concentration of planets where he's focused is a good payout for him. So I think Cram's in a good position.
Definitely.
Let's go
I would
ahead
say the best
and
of all of these three.
let's go ahead and switch over to Tomiko. Where is he?
It's the green one over there. Just
There he
there.
is.
Yes. Well,
Let me go back to
about
the beginning.
yes. Well, about Tomako, it was interesting to see that in the very beginning, all the Hovas players chose very different strategies to approach. Tomako clearly started to build those warships. And that's very good because you get low ID sweepers, so those are extremely. Brutes have got 6 beams, so they can, with 6 heavy phasers and low IDs, they can be very powerful against the mine laying races. And he's not spreading very aggressively. It seems that Tomako is perhaps the most diplomatic Hovasp in this sector. He seems to have deals around. Especially he seems to have deals with the robber baron because he's traveling without conflicts on robber baron's planets, and also then ground assaults them, so they have clearly some border treaty there, and Tomako is simply taking those planets that belong to him. And what's interesting there is that one soldier that went up and stayed on that planet, it could be that it's, for example, an amorphous planet. Maybe he has made a deal with Möber that he removes the amorphous out from the planet or something like that, or digs something there, or does something there, or terraforms it, or whatever. But because he doesn't then move to the neighboring planet, and he's otherwise so peaceful, and he doesn't send more ships or bots or anything. I don't think he's actually at war with anybody yet. So, what I think there is most interesting is that everybody seems to want to deal with Möber over there. And then we have poor Psydev south from Tomako, who doesn't have a single client coming over for super refits or other deals. Everybody are going to the neighboring shop. Möber seems to have better prices. Or marketing. But I'm really interested to see how this will proceed now, because now all the planets around there are colonized. Is he going to try to grab something out from the debris disk from Sidev? Or is he going to start going north to take those Beagles planets there? Because they are not part of anyone's of the neighboring peaceful neighbors. It's interesting to see if he's going to get a taxi service from the MCBRs.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting trying to figure out what the relationship is between Robert Barron and them, because you'd think it would be a little bit more widespread if they were fighting.
Yes. Everything points to peaceful coexistence.
Cooperative.
Yep.
I think we also have to keep in mind here the Hope Wasps are more or less their own federation because they can build their ships without any clans and just grow the clans after the ship limit and invest any clans they don't spend to put them in ships and make the ships stronger. Spend these clans onto new ships and then just wait until they can rearm them with more clans and then stronger weapons. And I think in this case it's also very good for him that this privateer is not really attacking him and he can just build in peace. And we see he has a big fleet, we see he has a lot of warships, and he can be a real threat to some people here.
Let's be specific with the concepts, because Horwasps do have ships and they have pods. So after the ship limit, they can't build ships unless they use priority points or the ship limit goes to the regular builds.
But
And they can build pods, and that's the whole different thing. Pods lack the firepower the
what
ships have.
what I mean here is if you put a ship, if you want to fight with the ship, you have to put like 900 clans on it or something, because otherwise it's not that strong. But if he is very peaceful, he doesn't have to put these clans to arm his ships, but he can use these clans to build more ships instead before the ship limit hits, and then use his clans, grow his clans, and put these clans on his ships, so they are strong in fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we keep an eye
But
on
I
him.
think the most interesting stuff. Yeah, but I think the most interesting stuff about Tomako are just coming in the coming turns. Whereas Cram already has had plenty of action and lots of strategizing.
Sounds like a great time to switch over to our good friend Super Schmidt. The interesting thing about him, or the challenging thing here, is his color is very close to a neighboring as well. So we'll point out that this darker red is Super Schmidt, and this less dark red is Planet Lord. And there's a lot in this neighborhood to point out. We'll go ahead and just start rolling through these here. Pretty early on, these two know that they've got to deal with this. There's obviously this competitive mass of planets for these three players to go after. And just so everyone knows, this is me over here, so I'm paying attention to this, not to be confused with our rebel friends over here. So they get into it right away. There's obviously a competition for resources. This is a sweet little pocket of resource that must be got by all. Super Schmidt does a pretty good job of also looking at outside of the target zone, and we can see our first combat here. And I think you even reported on this one in your report, Koski. That brought the colonies on top of that conflict, but there's just constant fighting over these planets. So constant shift back and forth between the rebels who are working with the colonies to counter this. Obviously, their survival depends upon putting down Super Schmidt. But you can see Super Schmidt is also, while he's focusing on those things, expanding out. He's heading up this way. He's down in here. And mostly he's been building a lot of broods. He's got jackers, because obviously he's fighting two carrier races, so jackers play a really good part in this conflict. Throwing stingers, trying to take planets back that get lost. And you can see massive expansion here. He is breaking out. So even if these the colonies and the rebels are able to put him down in his home sector, he's digging in other places. And so with the wasp, they are literally a plague. So if you don't eradicate and contain them, they will keep going. You can see he's heading out to the other side of the map. Ooh, trade envoy. What's that mean? A nest? Lots of conflict here. The rebels are they have a handful of rushes, I think, maybe 3 if I recall. I think the colonies they had 2 Virgos. I don't know if they still have that many. Oh, there's one. Yep. So they're chipping away at it, and I think that they will potentially be successful in eradicating him from here. But now that he's spread so far, it should be interesting to find out how other people deal with him. But there's been a lot of conflict over here, a lot of combat, and I think it's going to keep going for a while. If he gets
Yes.
lucky and concentrates on one of them, maybe he can knock them out. But I'll tell you, the fury in the area, we're all paying a lot of attention because we've got a fury here, got another one up here. I'm over here. There's one here. So we're all paying attention to what's going on over here because we're very concerned that that might be something that we have to deal with if he breaks out.
Well, I kind of believe that now if Olli has got enough fighters, they might have a good chance of eradicating Super Schmidt out from the starting cluster. Because Planet Lord did destroy so many of those Hovasp ships just then ago. So the Super Schmidt is kind of only in a small reservation now in 5 planets. They're in the area that's too far away from anybody to care.
But he is definitely using all of his tools that he can. I think he's throwing lots of different ships at them. I mean, he has taken out a Virgo.
Yes, but I think that was not a good deal for him because he lost a bit too many ships in that endeavor.
Definitely wasn't a fair trade.
I think Planet Lord actually got enough priority points to almost build a new one. I think every ship of those yield 2 priority points, so
Is that
he
normal?
got something like 10.
In normal priority points or in arena priority points?
What are the arena priority points?
Remember, in this game, you get more priority points than regular games.
From ship to ship combat?
Yes.
Well, then he should be getting more priority points.
Let's check on that. Planet Lord.
Right there on the
31.
bottom.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good right there.
Yep. So he can build a couple of those.
Yeah, I think it's going well for the colonies and the rebels, and I think Super Schmidt, he's been doing a good job. He's been under a lot of pressure. He's been causing a lot of pressure. It remains to be seen if he can remain viable if he gets ejected from his home cluster. So let's talk about the 3 in comparison. who do we think is going to survive? Who do we think is going to thrive? Koski, thoughts?
I think Supersmith will die away because if he loses his presence from his own home cluster, he will eventually be extinguished from little reservation he has managed to get because he's got so many players around who wants those planets, and he doesn't have the resources and ships there to keep them. And Tomako and Cram, on the other hand, have got so good diplomatic relations now to everyone. They don't have any threat coming for them. So why would they die away unless they offend somebody?
Mm-hmm. I think you're right about Super Schmidt. Um, I think Cram is the one to watch. Uh, I think he's wielding the more powerful fleet. He's got the most growth potential by eradicating his current target. Uh, my money is Cram comes on top of the three of them. So, what do you
Agreed.
think?
Yeah, I would agree on that as well because you can see this big cluster is just his. He doesn't have to share it with anybody. And even though we can see the other ones maybe got some good points here, I think everybody handled it a bit differently. He is the only one actively engaging in combat, actively attacking and pushing out his one enemy because Super Schmidt is maybe trying that too. But as we know, as we see, he's not doing that good of a job because two players with big carriers are just very, very hard to kill as a whole wasp. And I think Crab is here the one who is just in the best position of all because he is really holding that lizard threat down. And we saw he has a very, very big fleet. He can probably do a lot there. And I think he will take that cluster for himself and then maybe even expand further. Though I don't think he will be like in the top three because I think it's not that good for not that good of a game for the Harbors because we have so many players that try to attack them because everybody thinks, oh no, the Harbors, I don't want to fight them. Let's fight them together. And I think some other races will come out on top here. But I think Cram has the best potential, and I think he's doing the best he can as the Hall Wasp because of course the Hall Wasp are so annoying and everybody targets them and we see only three here and in the normal melees we see sometimes a lot more than three, but here as everybody is pretty conscious, pretty aware of who is where, they will just try to target them. And I think he did probably the best job you could do as a Hall Wasp here: kill one neighbor, be peaceful with the other ones, and build up a big power.
Yep. Um,
Yes, excellent.
Koski, you had something to add?
No, just that was an excellent analysis.
Mm-hmm. So we are on what, turn 16? Yep. Turn
17,
17?
yes.
17, yeah, 17.
So we are just two turns over a quarter of the way through this game. Game stops at turn 60. Moving away from our focus on the Horwasp, how do we think things are going? What do we think is going to be the drop off that we're going to see here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players with 5 or less planets. What do we think is going to be the drop off here? I know that we got some people really just hanging on to the edge here.
So, in my opinion, I think not that many players will die, but I think many will just be like incapacitated. They can't do anything. They will probably lose their homework, but they will have like one or two planets left that you don't defeat. I think a lot will just pull together their fleet and defend one key spot, and it's not easy to break because it's a lot of strength on one point, and you only need one planet to stay in the game. So that I think this way, not many will really get out of the game, but many will be without a strong military or with only a small area that they defend because they can't defend more. Maybe they lay one big minefield around 3 planets and just defend these 3 planets. In my opinion, Jezerimo is in a very good position. As we analyzed in the first of our meetings, we did see he has the big cluster. If you can go to the star map again, he has the big blue cluster. Yeah, right there, uh, right below the nebula. No, the turquoise. On the top right, he has there a lot of he has a lot of ships. He has a lot of space. He still didn't conquer every planet, and I think he will manage to also take down the empire and claim all of that space for himself. This is very strong, and we do not see any competitors for now except for the empire who spawned there that want to take that space as well. We don't see anybody pushing there right now. Maybe through the nebula, we don't see them coming yet, but I think it is a pretty strong point where he is, and I think he will be able to defend it with all the resources he has around. And I think this will be a very, very good edge he has over the other players, as he just has these many planets connections, and I think it's probably over 20 planets just in that, probably 30 just in that cluster, and this is just very superior. And he is even expanding a bit into the nebula, but he doesn't even have to. He just has to take down the empire, and he's already in probably one of the top 10 spots with that planet count, in my opinion, especially for now. And then he can concentrate on maybe taking out some other neighbor or just colonizing some uncolonized planets. And this is very strong. He has a good military. He has a very good chance on winning this game. I think planet count alone does not say that much right now, but I think it will. As you can see, he has 65,000. It's, I think, the strongest military of everybody. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. So he has
Joshua's up
oh
there
yeah,
pretty
right
high.
there. Joshua, I think I saw he has like one very big minefield, which also gives him a lot there. We see another rebel having a lot as well, but I think he has a very strong point there because with the military and the planets he has, this is very good for him. Oh yeah, I think this was one of the people who was in a very close conflict to someone else, so he has to build on the military fully. But I think as he doesn't have to concentrate on taking that many planets because he already has some. He has a
Yeah.
lot of them without a fight, so I think he will come out on top. As we know, planet count for now does not count that much because we saw Beagle on top, but he's getting taken down pretty quickly because he just doesn't have the chips. But I think Jezramu has a very strong overall point there. He has a very good stronghold there, and I think he will hang on to that top leaderboard position he is right now. I think he will probably end in the top 3 if he plays it out well.
Koski, what do you think?
Well, I think we are going to see lots of players dying, about half of the players.
You think so?
And the reason, yes, the reason for that is that it's not actually, you don't need to kill anybody, but that will be just a byproduct of how little planets we have here and how many good players we have. So if we've counted something like 12 planets for everybody in the total planets of this sector, and if those good players get that 24 planets, so that will simply eradicate half of them, and the players who can't have the firepower to stop them, then they will perish. And also there's the problem that you will get more priority points, so uh, there will be a bigger reward in taking their planet and destroying their ships, because you could actually get something out of it. So there is
I think
kind of this, uh, there is kind of this reward for being aggressive against the little people, and things will happen to players like Dragon 22 there in the bottom left corner. There was simply blood in the water, and then suddenly multiple sharks come over. Ulki from south, when Morgens first started from north, Ulki came from south. I don't think they coordinated anyway, and Joshua also now took one of his planets, and it's just simply being torn apart. And the same is happening to some other players. Black Lung also for another reason, perhaps, but also he's being attacked from north and south and west and every direction, and also Mekapes. One weakness comes and there's a lot of planets, and suddenly there's a lot of sharks trying to get their piece of the meat.
I think
So I
it
believe
is.
lots of players will die. Those players who have a starting point in a place that's long way from other players, it's kind of an isolated and hard to go place. Those can survive simply by clicking and turn. But about who will win, I wouldn't say Cesarimu because everybody can see that he's got plenty of planets, but they are sovereign, could get via wormhole to him, and some other players can arrive via wormholes to grab some of those planets. He hasn't even scouted all of them yet, so there's not much defenses around. So players like Joshua and Sovereign and others who have firepower and will to win and ability to grab planets, they will be doing that. And we also have that one mystical Der Blondehans in the nebula with good amount of ships and military, but we can see what he has because they are hidden there. We don't actually know even where they are located there
Yeah,
because
yeah, he's got a great.
somewhere in the
He's got the element of surprise on his side.
yes, indeed.
I think back to the killing players off. The question is it worth risking to lose a ship? Just maybe he has a only warp one ships on his last star base, and he just gets all of his defenses up. Is it worth risking these resources? And you have to rebuild them if you lose them, and even if you get enough priority points, you first have to rebuild them and then send them in, gear them up, and get them in again. Or will you just use these same resources to push another player that is maybe a real threat to you and just leave that last planet to him? I think it
And
depends on the player's playstyle, and we
but
will
it's a
probably
kind of
see
a
a lot of
super
that.
refit, you know. It's a kind of a super refit. You send some bad quality ships to die, and then you can build a high tech ship with the
Uh,
priority points you get.
yeah, maybe. Although I'm going to say probably a lot of times when you're looking to take someone out, you want to hit that home roll, and you're hitting that early because you want to stop their ability to respond. So I bet you in almost every case, the last planet's not the strongest because you're gonna go for the knockout shot. I mean,
Yes.
look at Brizio. First thing that happened, homeworld hit. It wasn't peck away at the outside. It was go in and hit the heart. So uh, I think a lot of times is going to be like that. In fact, I'll make a prediction. This will probably come out after it's true, but I expect next turn, insider knowledge, Brizio will not exist. The code of the
Yeah.
horde must be satisfied. Uh, I think it's still anybody's game. I do think it's really interesting as we were looking at this, exploring some of the military score and Domlos. He's got 5 Virgos. That is
Yes.
impressive. He has got a crowded neighborhood, uh, but I think we better keep our eye on him. I think we're going to see
I
some
think
stuff from him.
I think it's even more impressive if you see every Virgo has to get 8 engines, and it's just very hard to get one of these out that early or two of these. But he he has 4, and only with that limited space, with that limited planet. And I think that is really a sign of him being strong, and he does not have only Virgos, but he has, I think, 5 kobolds or something like that to chow them as well. So I think only a few of them have their own engines, the rest will be towed, but still, it's a very, very impressive fleet. He does have to get the fighters on them before he gets attacked, because that might be a problem if he gets strike now. Maybe some of them are not that equipped yet with fighters, and some can take them out for good priority points without a lot of resistance, but probably he thought of that as well, and if somebody comes, he will have been prepared.
Looks like he's got one over here doing something in fence space.
Going to repair shop.
Yeah. Get that super fitted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something to watch right there.
Lights underneath and spoilers and, you know.
Yeah.
Tuning.
New paint job, some rims.
Some leather inside so you can sit better with some nice chairs.
All right, well, it's still a very interesting game. There's still lots going on. It's anybody's game at this point. I mean, we are seeing a separation of the weak and the strong. And I think it'll be exciting to see what happens over the next week here. Koski, we're really loving your report. It's getting lots of attention, and I look forward every day. I refresh my homepage around when I think you're going to do it or whatever, and I'm looking to see if there's a new one out. So keep it up. It's good work. It's good quality. Your audio sounds great. I'm going to tell you from what your thing is. But You know what, guys? He still needs a new mic, so hook him up. Go ahead and plug your coffee site.
Yes. Thanks.
All right, gentlemen. That'll finish up Arena Cast number 3. My name is Griffin.
Koski.
Silist.